Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Rob, and we are back. It's Sunday night. It's around 9 o'clock, so Westworld just got over with. I am here to do my little review and reaction to it. So this is season 2, episode, what are we on now? This is 3? Man, I've been watching a lot of stuff lately, but this is Viva e Fortuna. So full spoilers if you have not seen this episode. Um, this one had kind of a slow start. It has a lot going on, but even though there's a lot going on, and there is the big fight in it, it still does feel like a filler episode to me. A little bit. We get a lot of story in here and big moments. It's hard to call any episode of Westworld a filler episode, but for some reason I just wasn't really on the edge of my seat and feeling like I wasn't, didn't really know what was going on. A lot of the stuff that happened, I was kind of like, it was pretty by the numbers. Not to, by the numbers Westworld episode is better than most TV. But anyway, I even made notes today because I miss a lot of stuff when I just do this off the cuff, see how this works out. It was a good episode. There really weren't any surprises for me. Maybe everything's a surprise for you, I don't know. But before I get into what I consider to be one of the best beginnings of an episode of Westworld, let's just kind of get into everything else after the main title. So we've got, let's see, well, we know that Charlotte, played by Tessa Thompson, and Bernard, there's only a tiny bit in the present day, and that's Tessa, Charlotte and Bernard, meeting up. How'd you survive? They're looking for Abernathy. Dolores's, who she perceives as her dad. He seems to be some sort of kind of linchpin in this world. He's got a lot of information going on. And then it just pretty much goes back to when it first was going down and like their first attempts to try to stop the, revolution or whatever. We get a return, if you're any Walking Dead fans out there, you would get the return of Stephen Ogg here as Rebus. He's usually, like what we knew from season 1, his programming was pretty much a psychopathic, bad guy, the just terrorize the townsfolk kind of character. He has hostages, real, guest, hostages, newcomers, however you want to call them, that got trapped in here after the massacre was going down. One of them, though, isn't real, and that's Abernathy, Dolores' dad. And Bernard and Charlotte are trying to figure out how to get him out because he's got all this information that the company at least really, really needs. So they were able to get, Rebus. I keep wanting to call him Simon. They knock him out, and instead of him being a psychopath, they make him an absolute virtuous cowboy who comes in guns blazing and takes out all the bad guys that have the hostages. But then right on as they free the hostages, the Confederales, they come rolling up because he was going to sell them originally to them. So now he's, shooting them. Abernathy doesn't want to go because his programming is basically telling him to stay and fight. So they get captured. Bernard and Abernathy get captured. Tessa, Charlotte Hale. God, it's so hard to, like when you think of the actor and you think of their characters and the whole reality of this show, it's hard to get people right all the time. So you got to try to stay focused on who's who in the show. So Charlotte takes off. And so Bernard and Abernathy are taken by the Confederales because Rebus goes running after one of the people, to help out because you don't want to go running around in nature. We have Dolores going now to the fort where she meets famous character actor Frederick Lane, who's playing Colonel Brigham. I love Frederick Lane. The thing I always remember him from is he was the marshal, the Sky Marshal on Lost. Here he's, a robot programmed to protect this fort, and Dolores coming in, giving him one of the soldier guns. They need his help to hold this area, to stop these people that are coming to, not just to, when she gets there, and she needs the soldiers to go away. She needs an army. She gets these guys basically to do what they want by showing them the soldier gun and all this other stuff, the high-tech weaponry that they have. It's pretty much, like an easy convince once you show these guys these new guns. I thought, for all the people that she has taken along with her, Clementine, she ain't looking too good for a beautiful girl in real life, and she's just a robot. It looks like she's not really been able to take care of the people that she's brought along with her. They just kind of look like just it's part of this whole thing. I mean, until she can figure out a way to get them, have like a army surgeon, basically like a combat, surgeon out there for robots. They're gonna start to fall apart a little bit, I think. But also it kind of feels like Dolores is really out for herself a little bit. She's out there talking about. It seems like she's supposed to be out there for robot rights, man. But I kind of have a feeling that it's really going more the other way. That she's more in it for herself than we think. I don't think she's as virtuous as we'd all like to believe, that she's going to help free her people. I think that's kind of secondary to her. I think she's going to start becoming kind of more like a villain, as some of the human characters are. But maybe I'm wrong. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that love Dolores. I don't have a problem with Dolores. I'm trying to think of all the angles, because on this show, you never know. Yeah, they've got the goo-faced guy there. Poor guy gets shot by the weapons. Kind of a probably mercy killing in that case. We've got Maeve and Lee and Hector. They're, got him dressed up in like Western clothes, and they're leading him to a place they need to get to. And there's that whole thing where they're like, it's a little thing I just noticed in like all shows, but Hector gives Lee the bottle of booze for some courage, and he takes this big pull and it gets yanked away, and it's like you can tell that the actor didn't really drink a damn thing. And fake drinking, when it's done badly, it just is so annoying to like go. I don't know. It's a stupid little nitpick about anything really when I watch TV shows or whatever. But that he clearly didn't drink a whole big bunch of whiskey just then, because he should have been like, ugh, or splatter, whatever. Small thing, doesn't matter. When Maeve tries to control the Indians who want to take Lee, her power, not power, but her ability to control the other hosts isn't working on these Indians. Another question, why do they want Lee? Like, is he because he's a white man? But, I don't know. That's something that maybe we need to like figure out here a little bit. Who's controlling the Indians? Possibly. There could be another whole other storyline going on with that, because they show up a few times here. Yeah, Dolores. Let's see what else we got going on here. Well, Dolores was gonna kill this one guy at the fort when they get there for, kind of threatening her fake daddy, her program daddy. And when Teddy stops her, I feel like that's again showing more of Teddy's like innocence still, and that if he is becoming his own person, he's not a killer. Dolores is just more apt to just execute people, and use even her own robot brothers and sisters as just kind of whatever. Um, so I kind of do like this side of, showing more of Teddy stepping in to try to like curb Dolores's kind of, kill first, ask questions later kind of thing about stuff. Um, she does have the reunion with her robot dad. I'm not gonna call him her dad. Like these are robots, man. They're programming. Yes, in a whole bunch of story, for her a long, long time, this guy was her dad, and yeah, that's how she sees him. But it's like, he's, it's still programming. And if she's able to like think about all the things that's happened, sure, if this is the person that was mostly consistent in her life as her father, fine. Well, they have this reunion. You can tell that he's all sorts of messed up, and it makes you wonder if he was messed up, like the things that are in his brain, have they been messing him up ever since season one, or is this from after they put him in cold storage, or what? Like how long ago were they planning on using him for something? Maybe Ford put something in him late. I don't know. It's something we're gonna have to keep an eye on. We go back to Maeve, Lee, and Hector here. Them talking about Lee having a problem with Maeve and Hector's relationship and how they're going against their programming. Kind of feel like that's a conversation that is a little late in happening. Just because he's feeling it like, how are you going against your programming? How have they been going against their programming ever since they were going against their programming, Lee? Why is this a conversation like him grabbing Cap in a field is an important conversation to have? I don't know. It just seems kind of silly, except that I feel like they wanted to have the conversation to Lee about how he wrote people's narratives based on the shortcomings and failures in his life. Okay, I guess that's something that they needed to say. Whatever. Again, this wasn't my favorite episode. It has some really great moments, especially like I said, the beginning I really like. Some of it just kind of whatever. That's why I say filler, but it's not filler. It's just, to me, it's not the strongest episode. Back on track though. Let's get back on track. Sorry everybody. This is what happens when I try to be organized. See, if I'm more like riffing it, I might miss something, but anyway. So Bernard and Dolores have their little meeting, and we get the whole thing where Dolores wants to dominate this world, as she puts it. And that, she's telling Bernard, you haven't even been out here really. You haven't been in the real world. Arnold, the person you were based on, was out in that real world. He showed me this real world. And out there, they're marked by survival. I'm not really sure what that means. I'm not even really sure she knows what that means. And then you get the line that, we're never going to know death, but, the whole thing of like, what we are is beautiful, don't we have a right to survive? Sure, I guess. I still see they're artificial intelligence. No matter how many bad people come, people come to the park and do bad things to these robots, I'm still on the human side. I guess, I think that the bad people that they want to get rid of, that have come to the park, go ahead. And, I feel like they should be able to defend themselves, sure, but in this world, they're property, and that's never going to happen. So this is really complicated, way of thinking about this. I almost feel like it's one of those, if there were real life robots out there right now, I wouldn't be able to talk like this about it. You know what I mean? There'd be like social justice warriors clamoring for the rights of robots everywhere. And anyway, we do get a really cool scene where we get to see the blonde girl. I don't know her name in this. I looked her up on IMDb and I couldn't freaking find her to save my life. But she had a flamethrower and she was lighting dudes up. And that was really cool. Just kind of, we thought she was dead anyway, right? And so here she is just wasting dudes with a flamethrower. That was pretty cool. We do get the return of Lutz and Sylvester. Apparently, Sylvester had a grenade booby trap on him. Pretty smart. it's one way to keep that guy in check, because you really have to keep an eye on him. Um, Again, we go back where we find out Bernard has been able to unlock all the locks, keeping him from Daddy Abernathy's brain. They don't tell us what's going on, but we can tell by Bernard's reaction that he's got quite a bit of information going on that is vital. How vital to all of this, I don't know. But, I'm sure they'll dole it out a little bit at a time for us. We got Charlotte making it back, almost getting killed by her own men because they're all jumpy. But she heads out there to, attack the fort. We know from the Colonel Brigham that he's got nitro buried out there. Dolores wants to make sure that the soldiers, stay out there until till she needs them to come back. You can already tell where this is kind of going. What I thought was interesting is that these guys are all, these robots. They have the fort kind of ready to take on these guys. And the real life soldiers are just kind of walking out into the open. Not the best strategy. I mean, I guess maybe it's showing their lack of fear of the robots, but I don't know. It just seemed kind of strange just walking right out in the open. And of course, when they see the hosts see the host soldiers see the trucks coming up, that brings them enough pause where they just start getting massacred and slaughtered, and it's a pretty easy thing. But what I do like is that Charlotte was using her soldiers as a distraction to sneak in and get Daddy Abernathy out of the fort because of what he has in his head. Pretty cool, and Dolores doesn't see it coming until pretty much too late, where she takes a couple of rounds and they still get out with her dad. Then they basically let all of the Confederalis, the Dolores lets all the Confederalis get killed. She even helps kill them. And then Teddy is supposed to take the one soldier that brought them to the fort, take him out back with the rest that survived, and kill him. For what purpose, I don't know, because she says that not all of us deserve to make it. So, I mean, again, going on to how Dolores really feels about her motivations and her end game. How much does she really give a crap about the other robots in this world? It doesn't seem like that she doesn't really care that much. So for all of you that think that she is just this, sweet whatever, trying to save her people, I have a feeling where you're going down the wrong road there, Dolores, as far as being the hero over people. I do like that Teddy didn't execute them. I think that's going to bite them in the ass. Dolores did not like that. Kind of looking very disappointed in Teddy. So there'll probably be repercussions and all of that. We do get to see one last look of Maeve's group, who are near a Klondike narrative, as Lee puts it. Who also finds a decapitated Asian warrior head. And we get our first glimpse of what we can only assume are ninjas or samurais or whatever attacking. So that's pretty cool. We got a nice little end there. Next week, it looks like it's going to be a lot of Man in Black. It also looks like it's going to deal with the guy that Teddy let go. So again, like I said, I don't think that guy's too happy with the revolution at this point. But now, so that's coming up. So now I want to talk about what I think is the best part of the episode, and that is the beginning and the little bit right near the end, where we get to see what I'm just going to start calling as Eastworld. At first, I didn't know, what all we were going to get to as far as different worlds. But I guess I could consider India like an India storyline, or, it would be Eastworld. On paper, that's just what I'm going to call it. But I like that it's kind of like has an Indian setting, and they're playing Seven Nation Army by the White Stripes with like Indian, was that like a scimitar, or is that a scimitar might be a weapon? I don't know. I don't know Indian music, like musical instruments. That was really cool. And what I do like is they introduced this character named Grace, who's played by Katja Herbers. I think Herbers. I hope I'm saying her name right because it's a damn. This girl is not just gorgeous, but she's a character I can get behind because, she's got this dude who comes up to her and is, putting on the lines, playing the, you know, sees the pretty girl, comes to a place like this, kind of Casablanca, fancy meeting a girl like you here. Um, and she's not like, they're both noticing that it seems like the park wants to keep them separated. She says, well, maybe that's because they're trying to push you towards a sure thing, leading this, telling this guy basically, I'm not easy, I'm not just going to give it up to you. And, but of course, they go right to her, like, little room where they're making out, and you think they're just going to get down and dirty. But just before it happened, I was starting to think myself, how are they going to start, being able to trust anybody in the park? Like what's the test you're going to use if people are always coming up going, I'm a human, I'm a human. I mean, anybody could, Dolores or somebody could easily have people pretending to be humans trying to infiltrate your groups at this point. And so right after that, she pulls out shows him the guns and is like, well, before we get to smashing, I'm gonna have to shoot you to prove that you're human. And he's on the fence about it, but I guess he really wants the girl, and she just like goes out ahead and unloads on him. And I guess that's for her not just a turn on, but a nice way of making sure that she's not banging a robot. I don't know, it makes me wonder if she went there with that whole idea in the first place. Why'd she have all those guns just sitting out there with that plan pretty quickly ready to go? But I thought that was really an awesome beginning. And we get they're out there talking about the Bengal hunts, hunting tigers. So, yes, it's robot tigers for anybody that thought that Bengal tiger in the other episode was a real tiger that somehow swam to an island because we're near Asia. No. Where's the fun in it being a real tiger? It has to be robot tigers. Anyway, they're on a hunt. They've got elephants, which, dang, I didn't even know people could really use live elephants on shows anymore. PW must have been watching them like a hawk. But anyway, they were really, they go all out. You get elephants. I'm assuming they're robot elephants. So not to, if anybody, they use real elephants on the show to, whatever. And they find all these people slaughtered here at their camp. And now we realize that whatever's going on in Westworld is already going on in Eastworld. Trademark. Ding. So, they don't realize how bad it is until old dude gets shot in the chest. And she barely gets out alive. And of course, as soon as she gets away and runs, she sees a tiger coming after her. The CGI on it isn't great, but whatever. It's about Walking Dead tiger good. But it's still like, who didn't call that as soon as she thinks she gets away? She's running into a fucking tiger. So she gets away from the tiger. She's out of the park. She's on the edge. She's on the rim. And she's got to jump into the water. She shoots the tiger and it pushes her off the cliff that they were standing by. She falls. It falls. That's when we get to our main titles. Great beginning. And then I really wish this had been the end, because then it would have been more of a bookend, because this scene happens right before Maeve's last scene with the ninja. And that's, you see the tiger on the shore. That's the tiger that they find later. So it was a robot tiger. And she's swimming, so she survived the fall. She gets out. She looks up. They're the Indians. So you don't know what's going to happen to her. I am really interested in this character, seeing where this all goes. I honestly thought that was the best part of the episode, except for maybe the girl with the flamethrower. That was pretty cool too. But anyway, trying to think of anything else I missed. The only other thing I missed was that Bernard looked like he was trying to get away, but Clementine smacked him upside the head. And that's about it. I did like this episode. Like I said, the beginning is really good. The fight's okay. Nothing really jumped out at me this week, except for the whole Eastworld part trademark. Yeah, we will watch it again next week, episode 4. If you like this video, go ahead and hit the like button. We hit 35 subscribers. So, thank you very much for that last person that got us at 35 subscribers. Now we got to try to get to 40. It's just take a few inches at a time, all right? So, if anybody out there likes this enough, we make videos all the time now. We do Legion, we do Westworld, we do Handmaid's Tale. I do comic book reviews, not comics, like stand-up comics. And any other thing that kind of suits my fancy. Sometimes we've got the Avengers Infinity War review. We've got an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 6 Infinity War tie-in thing I just put up a couple days ago. So there's plenty of stuff to watch on the channel. And so we could always use more subscribers. Gives me more motivation to try new things. Leave in the comment section if what you'd like to see, what you'd like to hear. How am I doing? Do I suck? Or whatever. I don't care. Anyway, this is Rob from Smirking Gun saying have a good night, and we will see you on the next video. Bye.